In this presentation, we want to see how the methods of biomedical and health linguistics can be applied to the study of titles of biomedical articles. Now, you may say that sounds a bit pedantic, and you'd be right, but titles of biomedical articles serve a number of important purposes, including helping potential readers to identify and retrieve articles that they might be interested in. The title of an article is also the first thing that a reviewer is likely to see, and so authors want to be able to put their best foot forward. And that means understanding and adhering to the industry standards, whatever they should be. So whatever is actually written in the title ought to reflect the job that the title performs. The title should tell you as much as possible about what is in the article, and the title should do so concisely. This is one of the recommendations of the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors. Content guidelines, such as Consort, also contain recommendations about wording of titles. Finally, journals themselves may have certain policies concerning the contents of titles. But are authors following these guidelines? Actually, it's hard to know. While lots of people have expressed ideas about what should be in a title, there's almost no quantitative information about the real contents. This makes it difficult for young readers to know what to expect, and it makes it difficult for young writers to know what to write in a title, particularly as medical publication occurs in what for most authors is a second language. Wouldn't it be useful if someone could tell us what the average author actually puts in their title? Are they following the recommendations of the International Committee of Medical Journal Editors and Consort, or not? In this presentation, we're going to find out by analyzing some large collections of biomedical articles. We'll start with 1,000 articles from the 4 leading medical journals: the British Medical Journal, Lancet, the Journal of the American Medical Association, and the New England Journal of Medicine. We'll analyze the titles to gather some really basic information, including how many words are in the average title, what the most common words and phrases are, and what the format of the title is. For example, whether it's a question, a statement, or just a few short words. Here we've plotted the word counts of titles. In total, the 1,000 titles added up to 8,410 words, which means that the average title was a little over 8 words in length. There were some slight differences in lengths between the journals, but these were not important. For a sample of RCTs, however, the average number of words per title was 19, about twice as long as titles in general medical articles. Here are the 20 most common words found in the 1,000 titles. As you can see, most of the words are not very complicated, and in fact about 2/3 of the words in titles are what we might call general English words. The other 1/3 are what we might think of as technical or medical words. As you can see, the most common health-related word was health. Now, these are words from titles in medical journals. If we looked at chiropractic journals, then more of the specialized terms would be related to, well, back complaints, other types of musculoskeletal disorders, and manual therapy. In fact, here are the 10 most common technical words from a corpus of the chiropractic literature. And here are the 10 most common 3 or 4 word phrases. Of course, in the chiropractic literature, we would expect to see phrases related to spinal manipulation and the back. The important point, however, is that the writing of titles tends to follow a formula. There are certain words and phrases that occur quite commonly. That's enough about words and phrases. What about form? How do authors put the words together? Do they write full sentences or just short phrases? From our study of titles, we can see that authors use up to 6 different formats. These formats are called nominal, also called a phrase, nominal compound, statement, statement compound, question, and question compound. A nominal is just a short phrase rather than a complete sentence, encapsulating the theme of the article. For example, caring for people with dementia. A nominal compound is a series, usually 2 short phrases. For example, pilocarpine, better than a scan. A statement is a declaration of fact, consisting of a subject, verb, and if appropriate, direct or indirect object or complement. For example, Prime Minister drafts raft of new screening tests. A statement compound consists of a statement followed by 1 or more additional phrases. For example, researchers deconstruct metastasis, genetic clues revealed. A question is a complete interrogative sentence. Does this child have a urinary tract infection? A question compound is a question followed by one or more additional phrases. What works? Interventions for maternal and child undernutrition and survival. Here are some other examples of nominal titles. Can you see that none of these is a complete sentence? Here are some examples of nominal compounds. Here are some examples of statements. Can you see that each one of these is a complete sentence? Each one has a subject, a verb, and, if appropriate, an object. The authors could, of course, have written those previous statements as questions. Here are the titles as questions, and each one still has a subject, a verb, and an object. Overall, in our 1,000 titles, the nominal title was the most popular format. The distributions of formats were nominal 53.8%, compound 29.1%, statement 14%, statement compound 0.4%, question 1.9%, and a question compound 0.9%. Preferences also vary according to the journal. You can see that the New England Journal of Medicine really favors the nominal format. The distributions of formats for the 4 journals and in the complete corpus are presented as percentages in this table. The British Medical Journal was much more accepting of statements than the other journals. In summary, the average length of titles was a little over 8 words, and by journal the averages ranged from 8.0 words for Lancet to 9.16 words for JAMA. Even though most titles were close to the average, the number of words per title actually ranged from 1 to 44. Titles of RCTs were much longer than the titles of other types of article. About 2/3 of the words in titles are from general English and about 1/3 are technical words. This makes it difficult for someone without specialized training to understand these titles. Authors prefer brevity over grammatical correctness in title formulation. The absence of the common pronoun I and the underrepresentation of we are consistent with the virtual absence of self-reference from texts of biomedical articles, and this appears to be the convention of scientific writing. Among RCTs, about 90% of the titles made reference to a health condition, for example, Crohn's disease or atrial fibrillation. 90% also named an intervention, for example, radiotherapy or antibacterial prophylaxis. The relationship between intervention and health condition was always unambiguous, and so titles act as something of a Rosetta Stone to the rest of the article and would be key to machine extraction of data from text. The nominal and nominal compound were the most popular formats, especially in RCTs, although there's a lot of variation according to the journal. And so now, as a reader, you know what to expect in titles of biomedical articles. And as a writer, you know what reviewers expect and what they are comfortable with. Thanks very much.